When Omarian Leclair finally bought his dream lake mansion, he thought his struggles were finally behind him. A life of hard work, sacrifice, and determination had earned him a home that looked like something out of a magazine. A sprawling property with its own private dock, a panoramic view of the lake, and the peace he had craved his entire life. But what Omarian didn't know was that peace would be shattered in the most unthinkable way. Not by burglars, not by natural disaster, but by the very people meant to protect the community, his homeowners association. Because one woman, the HOA president, known around the neighborhood as Karen, decided that Omarian's home was not truly his. To her, it was just another asset of the HOA, a venue she could use for her own purposes. And so began a story of arrogance, betrayal, and revenge, one that would end with neighbors bankrupt, a community divided, and a courtroom stunned. Omarian was no ordinary homeowner. He had grown up with little. His mother worked 2 jobs. His father left when he was 12, and he had fought tooth and nail to carve out a life of success. After years in the military and later building a successful logistics company, Omarian finally had the means to buy his dream home. And he wasn't just buying property. He was buying peace. This was supposed to be his sanctuary, a place to fish in the mornings, grill in the evenings, and host quiet gatherings with his family. But from the moment he moved in, there were whispers, neighbors who looked at him sideways. Questions like, "Are you renting?" or "Are you sure this house isn't too big for you?" Karen, the HOA president, never hid her disapproval. She was the type of woman who believed she owned the neighborhood. She dictated what colored doors could be painted, what flowers could be planted, and even how tall a lawn could grow. And when Omarian attended his first HOA meeting, she made sure he felt like an outsider. But nothing could prepare him for what happened that Friday night. Driving home after a long day, Omarian turned into a street, only to see cars lining both sides of the road. Music thundered from somewhere up ahead. His stomach dropped. As he approached his mansion, his worst fears were confirmed. His home was swarming with strangers. Teenagers running across the lawn. Adults carrying coolers. The front door wide open as if it were a public hall. And across his balcony hung a massive banner. "Congratulations, class of 2023. Karen had turned his private residence into a party venue. Inside, his heart sank. Red cups covered the floor. Pizza boxes were stacked on his white leather couch. Someone had spilled soda across the marble floors. Upstairs, strangers opened drawers, flipped through his papers, and even took selfies in his bedroom mirror. Out back, kids jumped from his dock into the lake. The wood creaked, then split, crashing into the water with a sickening crack. His dock, worth thousands, was gone in an instant. And when Omarian finally found Karen, surrounded by a group of parents, she looked at him with that smug smile and said, "Relax, it's just one night. This house is part of the community, and the community comes first." By midnight, the party ended, but the damage remained. Trash bags filled with beer cans, broken furniture, stains on the carpet, the dock in pieces, floating in the lake. Omarian confronted Karen the next day, but instead of apologizing, she doubled down. "You're overreacting. It was a celebration. Nobody meant harm. You should be proud your house was chosen." That was the final straw. Omarian hired a lawyer, and he wasn't playing games. He filed a lawsuit not just against Karen, but against every guest who set foot in his home that night. Through security cameras, neighborhood photos, and even social media posts where kids had tagged themselves inside his mansion, Omarian compiled a list of names. Over 100 people identified. Each one a defendant. Neighbors scoffed. Some whispered, "He'll never win." Others accused him of trying to ruin families. But Omarian was undeterred. "If I don't stand up for myself now, what's to stop them from doing this again? What's to stop them from doing this to someone else?" The trial was brutal. Karen tried to paint Omarian as selfish. She argued the house was part of the HOA's resources, a ridiculous claim that drew laughter in court. Omarian's lawyer laid out the evidence: trespassing, property damage, invasion of privacy, photos of the trash living room, videos of kids jumping from his dock, screenshots of strangers boasting online about the wild party at some mansion. The judge's face grew stern. The jury shifted uncomfortably, and then came the verdict. Omarian had won. Each identified trespasser was ordered to pay $150,000 in damages. Karen, as the organizer, was hit hardest of all. The neighborhood was shaken. Families who once laughed at Omarian now scrambled to sell their homes to pay the judgment. Karen's reputation as queen of the HOA was destroyed. She resigned in disgrace, her arrogance laid bare for all to see. As for Omarian, he rebuilt his dock, he replaced his furniture, and more importantly, he reclaimed his peace. Neighbors who once looked at him with suspicion now regarded him with respect or fear. Either way, no one dared cross his boundaries again. This wasn't just a story about a wild party. It was a story about boundaries, about what happens when arrogance collides with accountability. Karen believed Omarian's success as home and his property rights meant nothing in the face of her entitlement. But Omarian reminded everyone of a timeless truth. Your rights don't end where someone else's arrogance begins. Because respect is earned, boundaries matter. And when you cross them, justice will follow. So next time someone tries to trample on what's yours, remember Omarian's story. Because sometimes the loudest message is sent not with words, but with a verdict.